Aha, here we go.
Here we go.
No, I can't hear you guys.
Yeah, you can. You can hear us.
I mean, on my system.
Hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey ya hey yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey ha ya hey ya hey yo Fort Beck Community College Ukiepino yo me too gashi dagush kashka yogi piano yo wata pebi hagi ktabi ichachi ya bino hey yo hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey ya hey yo Fort Beck Community College Ukiepino yo me too gashi dagush kashka yogi piano yo wata pebi hagi ktabi ichachi ya bino hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey yo hey yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey ya hey hey yo Fort Beck Community College Ukiepino yo me too gashi dagush kashka yogi piano yo wata pebi hagi ktabi ichachi ya bino hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey hey yo Fort Beck Community College Ukiepino yo me too gashi dagush kashka yogi piano yo wata pebi hagi ktabi ichachi ya bino hey yo
Mitakuipi. Yushkewan Chian Kampi Chantewa Stea Yuhana Pechu Zapido. Elijah Hopkins Demie. Wana Wachik Wakwa Wonspe Wankantuya. Techia Diana Hiripido Mitakuipi. Hello, everyone, and again, welcome to the Buffalo Chasers podcast. We're streaming at you live from Fort Peck Community College, located in the heartland of Buffalo Chaser country. We want to thank you for joining us today here on the Zoom call and also joining us live on the Facebook live stream. I believe we're at week number 29. And so before we get started, we like to try and start off with a prayer, and then I have a few announcements about our drawings and whatnot. But Dekshi Wamni Shage, if you could share a prayer with us, we would appreciate that.
How hetchitula wopila chicha toshka daya ichano. How metaki api ambe tukile mechante tao aglake na hanam pechuza pelo. Ho hechaje mitao wamnisha ge toba imachiapi. Na yushkia na yoch pia wanahi. I come here in a good way to be happy and glad and all these good things. And we really enjoy this opportunity that we have to spend with you. But we always understand the importance of maintaining the integrity of our value system under natural law. So we always try to share some good words to this spiritual energy, this higher power, the creator, whatever you refer to them as. And if you could help me out at this time, I'd surely appreciate it. Okay, omakia. Aha he atukashila na wakantaka tadeo yadoba unchimaka na makaina. Naku mitaki epi wanagi makpia ktayage. Unsha ke nitaki epi unchi makao mani. O ichakiapo ushu ichalapo. Kiksiapo nitaki epi unchi makao mani. Wayanzapi. Unsha ke nitaki epi unchi makao mani chante yoksicho. Okiawo ushu ichalapo. Ambe tukile naha oyate oyansi chanku luta aga omani o wichakiapo ushu wichalapo. Kiksiapo mitaki api agichita oyate kizuya ekta wichasha bile wia bile ushia ke o wichakiapo. Atu kashila na wakantanka. Kiksiapo mitaki api wapia wichasha wapia wia pi chante washte upi o wichakiapo. Atu kashila wakantaka kche wichasha mealo. Omakia naha wopila chicha ampetu washte mak uheche tuelo. Kiksiapo mitaki api igduyapo naha wichasha pi na wiapi wiwayang wachipi tibi tunga wachipi mushianke chante washte nasu washake upi okiawo. Hao mitake oasi wamakashka oasi.
Mitakipi, a couple of announcements before we get started with our programming here. Going back to week number 27, we missed a week, and so we have some drawing announced. The winners of the weekly drawing for a jacket and for a Kindle Fire. So we have what I like to refer to as a Buffalo Chasers Letterman's jacket. We got one of those to give away. And so the winner of the week 27 jacket is none other than Trudy Bird. I believe I'm pronouncing Trudy Bird. Congratulations.
There, it didn't even work very good. Good.
Man.
Turn it up.
Rocket this time here.
Yeah.
And also we have a Kindle Fire tablet, and the winner of that is Randy Daniels. Winner, chicken dinner.
There you go.
Also, week number 28. So last week, our drawing podcast winners are, for a jacket, we got Johnny Ironcloud, winner, chicken dinner.
There you go.
Then we also have a Kindle Fire tablet for week 28 podcast, none other than Miss Lori Plummer. Congratulations, winner, chicken dinner. But you're all winners when you join our podcast. So thank you very much for participating. We also have a few other announcements. So for those of you that are joining us on the live stream on Facebook, how you get in that drawing is that you give us a like, a share, a comment, and then that's how you get your name in the hat for the jacket and for the tablet. So we do have a limited amount of those. I have to double check someone we have, but we should be good for a little while anyway. So that's how you get your name in the hat. So again, show us some Facebook love. A couple of other announcements. Registration for summer semester 2021 is now open. So I just want to give everybody the heads up on that. Again, free tuition and fees. It's
Yeah.
also my understanding we got free food cards as well. So if you want to join the Buffalo Chasers family for this summer, go ahead and register up. And then one other last announcement is graduation commencement day. There's an update to that day is May 21st. It was May 14th on the academic calendar. I got bumped back a week, so that will be May 21st. That's a Friday. It will be at 2 p.m. at the Wolf Point High School gymnasium. So that will be streamed live virtually, and there will be limited seating per graduate. I believe each graduate will have 5 tickets, and we will be doing social distancing. So that's just some update on those fronts. So I don't know about you gentlemen, Dekshi Earl, Dekshi Tommy. I believe last week we had a good discussion on some virtues around leadership. So wherever you gentlemen want to run with it from here.
Yeah. Chia Earl, can you hear us? Can you talk? Can we hear you? Hey, stoic Indian, look. That's how stoic Indians look.
Hey, he's froze.
Chia, are you there? Is he froze or
It looks like his screen completely froze.
we can't hear you? We can't see you. You're on the screen. Something's going on. You know, there's something you got hooked up in your system because you should be able to work right off your laptop. Just click on Zoom and all that sound and stuff should be able to come right through your laptop. Just stand alone. But now your face is all froze up. You're on here, but it's froze. Reboot it. Can you hear us?
Yeah, Earl, if you can hear us, I would just recommend hanging up the call. Just end your call on your side, then use that same link and join the call again that way.
Yeah. Just on your laptop, dude. I don't know how your system's set. Oh, there's somebody took off.
Yeah, that
There
was
now. Okay, good. Must have heard you. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Watch that. But anyway, as Chia is getting ready and all that good stuff, we got like Wowi Chake. We'll talk about that. That's dealing with the truth. How do you say that? Wisdom. Woksape.
Oksape, I think.
Yeah, Woksape. That about wisdom and the importance of that. And, you know, the difference between wisdom and knowledge is you can how do you say, you can learn knowledge, but you got to acquire wisdom, kind of like that. It's a kind of an experiential thing as it relates to the wisdom you carry. And my dad used to tell me, he said, even if somebody is one day older than you, you need to respect them, my son, he'd tell me. And he said, because they carry that much more wisdom than you do, whatever that consists of, eh? And so you always try to show respect to those that are older than you, in spite of their condition, in spite of their disposition, in spite of how they are or whatever. You always just try to share with them the dignity of human being. Wana huka hey.
Earl's back in the house. He's got some audio. Can you hear us?
We can't hear you. He should be able to go right off his laptop and come to us right off his laptop. The sound and everything is right there on your laptop. I don't know what you got hooked up to it, but
usually on the very bottom left-hand corner, it says there's a mute button. You click that up arrow.
At ape. I think that's how they say it. Bang him in the head. But yeah, but you would think, right, Elijah?
Yeah.
Just do it right off your laptop. It should just come right off your laptop.
Yeah, if you go on the bottom of the Zoom screen, there's a button that says mute. There's an arrow, an up arrow. Click on that up arrow. And then when you do that, it says select a microphone. And then just select which microphone it is. It could be the built-in microphone. It says internal microphone. I would click that. And then where it says select a speaker, do the same thing. Use your built-in output internal speakers under select a speaker. Well,
Yeah.
under select a microphone, I would do your built-in laptop microphone.
You see where he's talking about? Right by that little microphone. It says mute underneath. Well, there's a little arrow right next to it.
Yeah. Because you can actually click the mute button. It'll like completely mute you, but you don't want to do that. You want to make sure it doesn't have that red line through it, but there's a little up arrow. Hover your mouse around it and then click it, and then pop-up screen will open up.
Yeah, like that. And it has test speakers and microphone.
All this technology, it's
Yeah.
challenging for sure.
But anyway, I was saying that wait for Earl to get on. There's something.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
No, I can't hear you guys.
If I were you, if you can go
Oh,
on.
the old hierarchy move on me, huh? No, from Texas, you pull a hierarchy on me.
Yeah, hierarchy me is it?
That's good. You can hear me, so that's good. That's one step closer.
Yeah.
These kids play with computers, and then when it comes down to getting something done, they're lost.
Well,
Now I hear something.
yeah, you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4. You hear me? You hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I hear you too. Yeah, good. Oh, washtelo. Okay. Agnagupta, washtelo.
Right here. I'm gonna turn you down really loud.
Oh, well, that's how I am. Ayapa, hemielo.
Seriously, talk like that.
Well, don't be messing with it, Craig. You can hear now, Craig.
There it is, right there. I'm not with you guys.
Don't chink
Oh,
shit.
to the
Don't chink
people,
shit. Hetchushni. You'll be messing it up.
Come
But
on,
anyway,
man.
you got that list, Che, for the words we need to go through. I said woksape,
Well, we went through
Wochake.
Wochake, then we went through Waushila and Wachwala,
Yeah, peace. Yeah.
Woksape and Wauhula and Wawicha.
Yeah.
No, I think, yeah, no, we touched on that too.
Well, go ahead. You take whatever one you want to talk about and just run with it while we got you online here, since you know everything there is to know about this Indian stuff, and without too much savagery in there, we'll get this thing on the road.
Yeah, I turned you down some more. You're getting hostile.
Okay. Oh, I'll cut you off. You said.
You're hostile there, man.
Okay, Che, why not?
You know, the word to me, Woksape. Woksape to me is some of the, how would you say it? I ran into when people request, they want a song, you know.
Yeah.
So I have to ask them, you give me a brief biography of the person's character, personality, his good traits. And then from there, I said, I have an idea. So Woksape to me, like, is to be aware, to take a look at the world in a broader perspective.
Yeah.
You know, and just find that balance that you can work with. If you jump into anything too fast, how would you say it? You don't really give a accurate account or an accurate perspective on it.
Yeah.
So Woksape to me is to be conscious of that.
Oh.
Like say, like somebody asks you to help them in a naming ceremony. You know, you just don't pick up any idea that you may have. There's a young boy that I went and the family asked me, in-laws asked me if they could make a song for this young boy who was, how would you had special ed?
Toksha, yeah.
Yeah, he had a disease that he had to go with and deal with, and in time came, what, 9 or 10 years old, he passed away.
Eh,
So when I talked to the father and other people about what he liked to do,
mhm.
but he always liked to, that he liked to be outside, look around at everything, but a special moment was he liked to look at stars.
Oh,
And so I smudged and I did all the process protocol for that and thinking about a name for him. So I ended up giving his name of Uchachpe Hokshina,
oh,
Starboy. Yeah.
That's it.
That way his kids, because there's a story about that, Starboy. But this little boy, because of his condition, for some reason, he liked to, I wanted to watch that. He liked to look at the
Oh, wow.
stars,
Yeah.
you know?
Look at the stars, yeah.
Yeah, I made a song for him. So to me, that's a very vital and important, how would you say it, value that our people have, is to always be conscious and aware of what's going on and don't be judgmental.
Yeah.
That's hard to do at this day and age, you know.
But you know, Wong Sape, you can't read learn it. You have to experience learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, trying to define it in specific words. Sometimes there are people that have a knack and kind of find the close enough definition of it, but when you go back and think about your consciousness of what you're asked to do, you have to encompass that makasi hominin attitude.
Uh,
Take a look around, you know,
yeah. Yeah.
what is appropriate for this and what is not appropriate for this. So when I gave it a name, I was very happy that it worked out the way it did, because, you know, we're star people,
Oh, that's it.
you know, and that was hard to accept.
Uh-huh.
You're raised in an education system that looks at things in a linear way.
Yeah.
You question it. You say, how can that be? You know, they told us we come from apes, you know,
And yeah.
and we came from a strait, come down here.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's ingrained in your mind because you're told that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, your people came from the straits up there in Alaska. They came across the ice
Next.
and all that. And so when you got a young mind like that, you know, where you go with it? You know, is that the truth? You really don't know.
Yeah.
So one day I just happened to be outside looking, and it was really pretty night. Just looked up in the sky and I seen the Big Dipper, and we call it the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
Other people have names for it too, but so I went inside and I asked my auntie, I said,
Yeah.
I said, what are you talking about? I said, that Big Dipper.
Uh-huh.
He said, that's the
Oh.
gift of life.
Uh-huh.
So that was my first step of understanding that. She said,
Oh,
she said, we're star people.
that's it too. Oh.
And
Oh.
even that took me a long time.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
said, well, how can that be? You know, coming here in a ship or something, or coming here and being a giant or something. And you start saying, holy smokers, because remember, my mind was trained to be electrical engineer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so with mathematics and all this preset in my mind.
Logic. Yeah. Logic.
So,
Yeah.
so I was thinking, well, how can that be?
Yeah.
How can that be? And so I was listening to Nova, I think it was, and they started talking about the beginning of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting there watching and listening, and I said, gee, this is interesting. And he said, it all began with a microbe. He said, and I said, hit the atmosphere and went into the ground. He said, it started to grow. And everything stemmed from that.
Yeah.
It took millions and millions of years for it to become what we are. But then I could understand, well, that's what they were trying to say. You know, we came from the stars.
Chia, you remember that story about the buffalo, how they nurtured that little enzyme that was asking for help?
No, I didn't hear it.
Kitsiabo, the buffalo, he's seen this little enzyme, kind of like a little blood spot, and it was hollering for help. And so that buffalo stopped, and he was looking at it, and what the heck is this? And that little blood, that little enzyme, it's a story of origin. That buffalo said, "Well, I'll help you. What do you need?" He said, "I need some nourishment. I need something." So the buffalo would go out and bring him water and bring him whatever food or whatever like that. And then as it started growing, and as it grew and grew and grew and grew, um, it became a human being from that little enzyme, like what you're talking about. Because the minerals in our body, if you ever take them and break them down, the minerals are the same as our Mother Earth. It's the same thing as the stars, eh? It has the same characteristics of the stars and the Mother Earth, and the Earth is a star. And so we believe that, but we needed some help in becoming what we are. And the buffalo is the one that fed us, took care of us. And after this uh, enzyme became a human being, it said, for whatever, we're going to always be thankful. And the buffalo said, well, we'll never stop helping you. We'll always help you. And so we'll help you keep warm. We'll help you keep nourished, all this stuff. And so that was one of the stories. Well, that's the diversity of our stories of origin, but that's just basically one of them. But it all has to do with understanding the minerals within our body. It's the same as what the stars are made of, what Mother Earth is made of. We are made of that, with, of course, 80% of it being water. Eh?
Yeah.
No, no.
I always remember she said, you never say the word mini by itself.
Uh-huh.
You always refer to it as mini waka.
Oh,
But
mini
then
with
they use
choka.
that,
Yeah, even.
then they
Yeah.
use mini waka for whiskey.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because if you participate in it, it does alter your mind,
Yeah.
attitude. So anything that wasn't understandable, that they didn't know what was about, it became waka.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this water that they drank did things to your mind, did things to you. So it was referred to as being uh, something, how would you say, sacred.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here we're stuck with mini waka.
Well, brother man, Chie, listen to this now. This is a little different concept of what the basic fundamental understanding of waka is, or the definition of how they utilize it. They're utilizing it as in reference to spirituality in regards to sacred or holy or something. But what I use it as is spiritual energy. Just for my own mind, my own purpose. I've said this before in various other podcasts, but I look at it as a representation of or a reference to spiritual energy, waka. That like for instance, shunka waka. That says dog that's filled with spiritual energy, because originally the dog was our beast of burden, but then were having a hard time kind of getting around, and so they were wishing, not praying, but wishing for something to assist them. And then we believe that that beast of burden, needed something bigger, and the horse was brought to us. So they made reference to this beast of burden, which would be referred to as shunka, and then waka, filled with spiritual energy, even more, to help us to continue to be an even more better beast of burden, because they're filled with spiritual energy. And then when I pray, I always say, Tukashela na wakantanka. My grandfathers, or this thing that helps all the time, that's old and prehistoric, and the spiritual energy, okay, which the non-Indian relatives refer to as heaven. And so, and then like, let's say the pipe, chanupa he lila wakaya, and the pipe is filled with that spiritual energy, because the pipe man, what he tries to do with his pipe, if he's sincere and committed to the seven ceremonies, he's wishing to share that spiritual energy with everybody, because he understands the protocols of the pipe, the values of the pipe, the values of the seven ceremonies, the seven rites that go with that. And then he uses that to share it with everybody to help them become stronger. That's me personally. That's just the way I look at it. I get contention from that, because again, I feel that to define Wakha as holy is a contamination, I think. But just a thought, just food for thought, Che. Think about that one. Just Wakha, spiritual energy. See how that applies to your definition. See if you can make it work.
See, when I was younger, I'd be looking out the back seat window, and I seen this animal or thing on the road that we had gone by before. And it was all of a sudden now there's maggots, and it's starting to fall apart.
Yeah.
And so I asked my mom, I said, why does it have to be that way?
Yeah.
And her comment was,
Yeah.
She said it's going back to its originality.
Yeah.
Ka part is the decomposition.
Yeah.
You know, so when you put a wa in front, you have to think about what part of the word did that come from.
Yeah.
And wa represents snow.
Yeah.
Or ice, you know, at that
Prehistoric.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are finding out now that there's other practices before the pipe arrived here.
Yeah. Exactly.
2000. So what was their entity then that they used to find buffalo?
Yeah.
To use lost articles and pray for healing or guidance through these. And so they call them tongkha.
Yeah.
Tongkha are sacred stones.
Yeah.
Right? So the tong part is, and whenever somebody asks you, they say, "Wanil tuhani tombe." He said, "What winter were you born?" Right? So the tong part represents origin or beginning.
Oh,
so like for instance, when I was off to boarding school, one of my relatives asked me, "Where are you going to go to school?" I said, "Wahpeton." And she kind of smiled at me. And it felt kind of different, funny, but I said, I wonder why she reacted like that. Well, I found out that's Wahpeton. The dictionaries that they put out, they spell that word Ton.
Oh.
Anybody who reads this is going to say ton.
Yeah.
You know, Sisatan.
Yeah.
You know, but if you localize that, change that to you and nasalize it, then you got the word for origin.
Yeah.
So Tohan, Aniata Tohani Tombe. He says, when were you brought here?
Who's your origin? Yeah.
It doesn't say your mom or dad, it says they.
Yeah.
Referring to something that's sacred.
Yeah.
So Tohani Tombe, the spirits, when did they bring you here?
Yeah. Well, Tukashila is reference to what you're saying as well.
Yeah.
Tukashila. Yeah. It's in regards to that. You know, that's the interesting thing. Once we start breaking it down, remember how Albert used to break it down all the time? And then like Charlie White Buffalo, remember Charlie?
Yeah.
That crazy guy? He teaches like that now too, down that way. So he's one of Albert's proteges. So yeah, I expect that.
But him and I grew up in the same town.
Yeah. But that was that. See, and I think that's why I say, and that's my personal integrity as it relates to Wakha. I accept it like that because again, it's so inclusive of all that is, and not being trying to be holy or better or self-righteous. And if we were that way, I think we'd be a little bit more righteously indignant, and we'd have a right to be that. That's a joke. That's a joke, Elijah.
Yeah, I find it very interesting because once we establish and have our minds open to the process of learning words,
Yeah,
you got to remember that all our nouns are verbs.
you're true. Yeah,
Every
I
noun
agree.
that we use are based from verbs.
Action words are, yeah.
Interesting one that I just learned. It was on a videotape. I think it was on Facebook. But there was an elderly lady talking to a younger man who speaks. He's fluent, you know.
Yeah.
She asked him, "How do you say thermostat for a car?" Right?
Oh.
Yeah. So he didn't know. He said, "So Ash," and he said, "No."
Yeah.
Well, she explained. She said, "You have to look at what it does. So when the engine starts up and it needs to get cooled off, that coil in there expands so water can run to the engine.
Yeah.
The water has to be heated. So it's ochalia. So
Oh.
ochalia means to get it boiling, get it warmed up.
Yeah.
Ochalia.
Mini becha.
Then it goes back to the opposite, reverse, when you need, and then so it has a timing mechanism. So you say oyuspe. So
Closes it.
ochalia, oyuspe is what they use to define the
Ocalia Oyuspe, the thermostat. That's really cool. So now with all that, now how would you define Chie? How would you define Wowacha?
Well, to me, it's something that's been put here a long time ago. Yeah, and it has the inference of something that was practiced or written. So most likely you have to lean towards it being practiced because years ago they never wrote the language.
No, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you have to look at that from that point because when something was not understood, it became sacred.
Wowacha, how hechete. Spiritual energy gabado.
Yeah. So you have to always remember that if there was no basic knowledge amongst each other, they didn't know what it was, then it was sacred. So they treated it that way until they figured it out. Just like the horse.
Yeah.
Just like the name of the horse, And I've questioned that. I went around the community asking people, where does that come from?
Yeah.
Holy dog.
No.
And I kept thinking, I says, how is that, how that become about?
Yeah, it doesn't make
Because
sense.
a beast of burden, amongst my understanding, is shung. It's got a G, shung.
Shung. Oh.
Right? So it's big action words that come together and shortened to say it easier and becomes a word. That's my theory. So
I think so too, yeah.
The word for is to carry something.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be shung, right? Or that in that area. So when the horse came along, it became very useful. So they said it could be shung, right? Wakhan. So I look at all the various variables involved in it.
Yeah.
How the origin has come about.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I will never forget is sometimes it's right in front of you and you don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady came up and she said, "Dakono," she said, "Tokha." She said, "Tokishkehesh kawakha you have tokita he only still teach up." I'm going to tell you the story I heard when I was a little girl. So she told me about this story about how they first came in contact with what they call a holy dog. And she said the description and the story of it, she said, I remember it because it's just so real. She said, everything occurs in a dream,
Yeah.
Anything. So this young lady was having these dreams about this animal that kept seeing long mane, long tail, 3 toes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're talking about way back.
Way, way back. Yeah.
And she kept telling her parents and telling people what she was seeing, you know, constantly seeing these images. And it was, in a sense, an interest that she had. And she kind of somewhat mesmerized by it. So one day the scouts left for looking for winter camps, looking for different things, plants, medicine. Well, she followed them, not really knowing where they were going, until finally, after a while, they noticed that they were being followed. So when they waited, she appeared. And so they couldn't send her back because being out there alone, I mean, he had a dangerous life. He had bears and wolves,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So they kept her. They took her along with them. And when they finally came to this place where it had snow on the peaks,
Yeah.
and they had this bubbling water in the ground. That's how she described it. She didn't tell me it was a geyser. She
Yeah.
said it was a place with bubbling water. And so when they got there, one of the scouts came back and said he saw something that he's never seen before. So Takomane, they walk on.
Oh.
It's got to be something sacred.
Yeah.
So they went, and as they were looking down into the valleys away from the area that he described, they're waiting to see. And finally they saw. And but they got they got scared.
Yeah.
Because anything like that they didn't know nothing about, I would get scared.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So they knew that this is something that's Wakan. So when they were going to leave, the girl was missing. And as they looked down again, we saw her approaching it. So she was following a dream.
Mm-hmm.
She was
Yeah.
her curiosity, her purpose.
She's hunting for it. Yeah.
She was following it. And so she went amongst them. But the rest of them, Kokipcham, so they didn't want to go in there.
Big chickens. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about big chicken, but I wouldn't want to go in either. You're eating, that's why you're thinking
I
chicken.
know.
KFC.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they left her.
Oh.
And they reported what they saw back, got back. So that following year, they said, we have to go, the parents, we have to go find her for whatever, if there's remains or whatever
Yeah.
other evidence of her disappearance would be. But when they got there, they noticed that there was a lot more. And so they figured that, well, there was a purpose and reason for this, you know? So they started capturing him. So that's where that shun, you know, they used him for beast of burdens.
Yeah.
And so when you're raised, think linearly. I say to myself, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It all makes sense in the language part of it, but I'm still that thinking, you know, that ingrained.
Critically, thinking critically, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So when we were up in Regina, when I went up to Regina, remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
We stayed at, it was Donnie's place or somebody. Anyway, I went to a bathroom and I sat down and I pulled out a National Geographic, thumbing through it, and I ran into an article in it. So I started looking at it, and here they were talking about the remains, the skeletal remains of the first horse.
Yeah.
Found on this
3
continent.
toes. Yeah.
Yeah. So then there I said, yes, oral history and what we read about this situation came to make me realize. He said those horses were always here.
Yep, yeah. And I've heard the similar story way off in a different arena. Basically the similar, because they always said the Spaniards brought the horse, but I don't care to accept that because they said the horse, the one we know, originated here on the North American continent.
So it'd be nice to find that National Geographic.
Yeah. Google it. Yeah.
Well, it might be there. As they said, it's in Regina.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
remains.
Yeah.
It's about getting photographs because I tell the story to my kids,
Uh-huh.
students, the bigger ones. How's that?
Spaniards brought over.
Someday it'll register like it did with me. I said, I was in the same mindset as you are now.
Yeah.
But someday I'll come to realize how important that is. You're finding that out. Let me tell you something that just freaked me out.
Uh-huh.
I go and look at these little history stuff.
Yeah.
There's a tribe, Native American out there in the east, I think is around Philadelphia or someplace. Anyway, he was a cook. And so there was an order of potatoes. Somebody ordered some potatoes. So he sliced them and took them out there and here. He said, told him, he said, they're too thick. He said, I want them thinner. So, okay, he went and got them to slice them again, took them back out there. And then the recipient said, too thick yet. He said, I want them thinner.
Wow.
Right? So this Native American guy was cooking, cut it just a bit, so seco and nice.
He's mad now, yeah.
He cut him
Pissed
as
him off.
thin as he could. And he fried him up, touched him with a little bit of salt, took it out there. That became the first laid potato chip.
Oh.
So whenever you eat a
Yes,
potato
Zip.
chip, it was a Native American.
Oh,
Zip.
Huh?
You really had me listening too. I thought you was really going to get something significant, lineal understanding, and intellectualize this process.
But I said, all right, on. I said, so those are the kind of things we don't hear about because we
But
didn't
that's a true story though, Earl.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a true story because they cut it so thin and then they crisped it up and then it's a potato chip. It doesn't have to be Lay's, but it is a potato chip. Yeah, that's how it was created.
That company took it
Popcorn is an original. Most of the medicines that we use today originally came from Native Americans, and people don't understand that either. A lot of these things that we created, and that's where we need to, understanding the history. And you see, all the stuff on North American continent usually grows here. We very seldom got imported stuff long ago because it took too long, and then Christ, you'd starve by the time we got here. So we'd have to originally create a lot of this medicine, a lot of this food, a lot of these materials on our own, of our own. And people don't understand that. They think just because you get everything from China now that it's all made in China. No, we used to make all that stuff here. And so,
Like,
yeah.
South Dakota tourism put a piece on it for advertising. Welcome to South Dakota.
Yeah.
And that they said where grapes are in abundance. They showed vineyards.
Yeah.
All that time it says, are wild grapes, and they wrap themselves around trees.
Yeah.
And then iustake, that's what.
Yeah.
So
that's how they hang down there. They weren't grape trees. Those are
wild grapes. They're showing vineyards.
Yeah, wrapped around those tree branches.
But anyway, we kind of got off subject, I think.
No, you're good. You're good. It's all good. It's all good, brother man.
But anyway, I don't know what the status of things was yet to come here, but I am still, how would you say, thinking of going to make a change in my life or whatever, because no doctor, I was told by my doctor, no doctor in the world will touch you about your hernia.
Yeah.
So I kind of went into a depression, come home and I didn't know what to think with modern medicine and all that stuff. Geez, there must be some way that can be dealt with.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I says, well, how do I resolve this feeling? how do I be able to download? All right. So the first thing I did was, oh, check it.
Oh, hecho tú.
Read, and I said, ain't much I can do about it. I said, so whatever will be, and I have to accept it. So that's where I'm at, because I took a shower. I came out looking for a towel, and there my grandson saw my hernia. He said, gee, Grandpa. I said, Lala, what's that? And I said, I'm 4 months pregnant.
Next. Okay.
What the hell can you do but laugh about it, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, hecho tú.
I said, it's an alien's father.
They captured me.
You know? So that feeling passed, and I said, well,
Yeah.
all I do is what I got to do.
Hey, Che, they invited me up to Saskatoon on June 2nd to the Dakota Whitecap Reserve for that youth language thing. You should come with me. I'll go get you and we'll go up there.
June 2nd. Let's
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I can make it.
Yeah, I'll come and get you, and then we'll travel up there. We'll go from there, from your place up to Saskatoon.
So you got a long ways to come.
Yeah, but Arvel's going to be there. Looking Horse, he'll be there. And then a couple other people there, that one was Junta guy. But it's a youth language conference. So you can come with me and interpret. Yes, Kahenie.
See, the thing of it is, what's the situation with the COVID up there in Canada?
I think that by that time, everybody will get their vaccination in just a matter of letting us get through, though. I don't think it'll be a problem.
You
Go
know,
back
the
to
last
normal.
last time I went into Canada, I was at the airport in Minneapolis, and they wouldn't accept my, wouldn't let me go in to
How
Canada.
come?
Because you have to have something certified by the government. Yeah. And so I didn't know what to do. Because all I had was my tribal ID, but they wouldn't accept them at that time.
Shit. Any
So-
visitors they're visitors, they won't welcome no other people there without that. That's BS, man.
Minneapolis, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
this was quite a few years ago. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
so I called my missus and I told her about it. She said, I'll make a get the fax number where I was being, the situation
held
was.
up, yeah.
So I got the fax number and sent it to her. She called, so I sent it to her, and she found my birth certificate,
Uh-huh.
made a copy, and she sent it to them. They accepted it. So I went into Canada.
Yeah. They just do that just to be hateful, but yeah, think about it. June 2nd, put it on your calendar. I'll come down there on 1st, and we'll
And the
head
other
out.
time is we went up to sing at Sundance up there and here. Not that we practically had to stand there in our shorts and
Yeah, they strip searched you, eh?
everything.
Yeah.
Took our drum apart.
They did that to Bob one time, and Bob was the chief. Tatanka Doba Naji, he was the chief, and he didn't say nothing. I said, you should have said something. He said, no. I said, that's their job. They got to do that. Because they stripped him off, too, and checked his whole car. And you hear he was going up there for a ceremony.
Yeah.
But they never did do that to me. I always told them, I said, I'm going north to help out with the ceremony. Oh, go through. Well, I usually
do all
am,
the
eh?
talking when we get there.
Yeah, for sure. But give you a chance to take a break, and yeah, we'll go up there and
Put up.
visit and kind of talk. Well, it's for the youth, though. It's a youth.
Got smudged good though.
Huh.
Last time we went up there, I tell you, you were jumping up and down my back.
Dude, what do you had a broke back? I was trying to fix you. And that's why they named that movie that Brokeback Mountain.
Kids peeked over the car. What are they doing?
Yeah, should I trying to save my brother? No use. Jeez, these guys. Well, brother man, Toshka, I think we'll just finish her off now. And I think is it all right if you got some other things that you needed to share with everybody, eh?
Let's see. You said June 2nd. Is that a Friday or when is it?
I think that's a Wednesday, actually. Wait, just got Yankee. I'll get that for you in just a second here. June. That's a Wednesday. That's a Wednesday.
Okay.
They're having a Dakota language conference, and Arvel's going to be there, and then a couple of other speakers, a couple of doctors as it relates to language, and they're talking about pedagogy and stuff like that. But it's all for the youth, eh? And I'm going to be one of the keynote speakers, so you can come with me. And
You're going to be live streamed too?
I think so. Yep.
I think I've seen that on some poster. All right.
Yeah. I'll say I'm bringing Nicheole. He's really nosy, so hide all your good stuff, I'll say.
I brought my recipe for Indian chili.
But yeah, that's a
Indian chili.
Igriya. Shit, we'll head out there. June 2nd. Now remember, don't forget.
You take away his blanket.
Okay.
Anyway, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'd really be cool.
We'll get to visit with Arvel and see what he's up to, what he's been. All that good
I suppose
stuff.
Paula's going to be there. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
So let me work it into the.
Yeah, put it in the agenda. June 2nd. Remember now.
Well, if there's do you have a poster?
Well, it's online. It's in a Facebook.
Okay.
Have Leland look it up.
Because I can get time off from work.
Yeah,
And that.
you could.
So-
We'll just go up there and I'll come down on the first, pick you up, go up there. We'll come, and then when it's done, we'll just come right back. I'll drive. Christ, I haven't driven in how long, so it won't be bad.
Look up, talk there. You'll be. Last time we were up in a deer herd, and
You should do. My main navigator got us lost. Nothing worse than a lost Indian. God.
Deer looking at this. Yeah. What are you doing?
Way out in the bush.
All right. Well, okie dokie.
Okay.
Oha.
Go ahead, Elijah. Oh,
Stake pidok stake.
Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hey, ya, ya, hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, 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 hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Fort Beck Community College, Ukiepino, yo, me too, gashi, dagush, kashka, yogi, piano, yo, wata, pebi, agi, ktabi, ichachi, ya, bino, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, yo. Hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo. Fort Beck Community College, Ukiepino, yo, me too, gashi, dagush, kashka, yogi, piano, yo, wata, pebi, agi, ktabi, ichachi, ya, bino, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, yo. Hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, hey, ha ya hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha hey oh hey oh hey oh. Fort Peck Community College, no yo yo. Me too gashi dagush kashka iogi piano yo yo. Wata pebi hagik tabi ihachi ya bino. Hey yo hey yo. Hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya yo hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ha hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha hey yo hey yo. Fort Peck Community College, no yo yo. Me too gashi dagush kashka yogi piano yo yo. Wata pebi agik tabi ihachi ya bino. Hey